Hey everyone, happy Tuesday to you. I'm back now from a trip with a bunch of fellow coaches down to Florida. And as I was coming back last night, like usually happens when you're traveling, one of my flights ended up being delayed. It wasn't a long delay, 20 minutes. We had to wait for the pilots. They were delayed on a different flight. But that doesn't really matter. But when I was standing there, I noticed some people were very frustrated. They had connections that they had to make on the other side, and because of those other delayed flights, there was people running through the airport and yelling at gate agents and that type of thing. That they were so worried about the time. And I kind of laughed because I'm happy that I made a change a few years ago where the easiest way to put it is I live my life based on a compass now rather than a clock. And what that means is, I got this out of a book I was reading, and essentially what that means is I have goals, I have dreams, I have a vision for my life of where I'm going, and so when I'm doing things, when I'm going places, I live my life focused on working towards those goals. So rather than worrying about time and where I'm at and being this place, doing this, that, da, 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 I'm more worried about, in this moment, am I working towards reaching my goals? And what that does is it frees you up from having to worry about the clock. What it does is it makes it so that no matter what the situation is, no matter what happens, just take that situation and use it to work towards your goals. When I was on my way down there, I ran into some pretty bad traffic heading into Chicago. And I was really starting to get worried that I was going to miss my flight. I mean, it was getting to be that close. And I was starting to get pretty anxious about it. What am I going to do if I miss my flight? Da, 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 it's going to be a headache. And then I just told myself, relax. If you miss this flight, oh well, it wasn't meant to be. There'll be other flights. You'll get down there eventually. This thing's a whole weekend long. You're not going to miss that much, if any. And besides, that'll give you some time to sit in the airport and talk to people, get to know people, that type of stuff. And it really just took a load off that I didn't have to worry about that time. Well, as it turns out, I got through security really fast. I got to the gate right as they were starting to board. No issues. But I got on the plane, I had a smile on my face because I wasn't this bundle of nerves from being late. And I applied the same thing when our flight was delayed last night. I started talking to a guy next to me and, found out what he did and, just thought he was some average Joe, and turns out he's a multimillionaire. He's sitting in first class on the plane, and as I'm walking by, heading back to coach, he gives me a nod like, hey, it was nice to meet you. So that 20-minute delay allowed me to meet somebody that I would not have talked to or met had that plane been on time. So live your life with a compass, with a focus on what your goals are, where you're headed, and stop worrying about the clock so much. It's going to lower your anxiety. It's going to help you move towards your goals. We'll talk to you tomorrow.